And you hit this button, and I hope it goes live. All right, there we go. Grrrr. Greetings, humans. Greetings, and welcome back to another, gosh, I hope, fun-filled episode here. If you don't already know, Bear here, 29-year veteran of the woods, and today, oh boy, you know what? We've got kind of a cornucopia of different stuff going on here today. Actually, if you haven't checked out the video that we did just the other day, kind of doing a little bit of kind of a story that Bear wrote and kind of talking a little bit about that, but also kind of doing some stuff as well. We're actually going to kind of get into a little bit of kind of some Comicsgate stuff here to talk about here. So that'll be fun as well. So, hey, you know what? Let's just go ahead and kind of get right on into it with it here. I hope you guys like this little picture that I did here. It was kind of neat. Kind of neat. We're going to be getting into that in just a little bit. Unless, of course, everybody comes back and says, oh, God, no, Bear. Bear, don't ever do that. Don't ever do that again. We never where did my 10 minutes go? You said it was going to be just 10 minutes. It was the wasted 10 minutes of my life there. But you know what? I hope that didn't happen. I hope you guys actually liked it. But, you know, if not, that's okay. We can always talk about other things here. But, you know what? Just real quickly. Oh, my gosh. Bear wakes up today. You know, I can't listen. You know, Bear lives down in the South, down here in Florida. Beautiful Florida here. You know, so I can't really complain too much when people are, you know, digging out to the snow and all this other stuff. But you know what? Bear wakes up today. Oh my gosh! Instead of snow coating the ground, there's a whole bunch of yellow dust everywhere. That's right. Oh my gosh, the pollen has come. The pollen has come early here, and I tell you what. So if Bear's I tell you what, I kind of ran out of voice last time. I hope I can make it this time, because I tell you what, the pollen has gotten to Bear here, quite a bit. So a little bit of a kind of a scratchy throat and everything, but that's okay. That's all right. That's one of the things that we got to deal with. I can't really complain too much, but I've got a little bit of a nice little bit of a hot tea here to help out. So I hope you don't mind. Bear tries to run a very unprofessional, professional show here. I hate to be drinking on camera here, but I'm gonna take a little sip of the hot tea. Oh my God, that was hot too. That was hot. I just took it out of the microwave. Whew, that's hot. All right. Well, anyways, enough of this jibber jabber. Oh God. Once again, the camera screws up on me here. Let's get back to it here. Let's get back to it here because we've actually got some stuff to talk about here. Kind of Comicsgate stuff here. So let's just go ahead and kind of just get right on into it. Let me get rid of this. Get rid of this cover and go to this other button and click that. There we go. There we are. Actually, we're going to be taking a look here at a bit of a Monster Hunt. That's right, from Mike S. Miller. Kind of a combination of different stuff here. Let's see if we can kind of point the stuff out here. Let's see if we can kind of get to it. I think we've got Lone Star here and I forget the guy's name. I'm sorry. Your boy Zach. I'm sorry. I forgot the guy's name already. And of course, we also got the people from Monster Hunt here. You see Mick Mayhew, Mick the Monster Mayhew up there. And I hope you don't mind. I've got my jersey on. We weren't supposed to have a game today. And then all of a sudden, the Tampa Bay just decides, hey, let's go ahead and have a game today in Carolina. So kind of keeping one ear out on the TV there just to see if we score. But you know what? If Bear goes, woo, like that, you know, you'll understand why. You'll understand why, but that's right. Go Tampa Bay. That's right. Okay, anyways, enough of this sports ball talk. I tell you what, I'm mixing my metaphors here, talking about sports and all this other stuff. But what we have here, kind of something that was kind of illustrative for, in more ways than one, illustrative for Bear. Kind of a little bit back when, you know, when Comicsgate was getting started and everything, they kind of did this little mashup with, like you said, let's see, Lone Star, fella, God, I can't remember his name, and then the folks from the Graveyard Shift, Mick and Lilith, and oh gosh, I can't remember Vlad from Monster Hunt. Yes, indeed. So, anyways, kind of an interesting period in time there in Comicsgate when everybody was kind of all hunky dory and everything. Yes, indeed, kind of hunky dory indeed. So, you know what? Kind of want to try and help out as best as he can. Kind of try and get back to kind of some of those good fun days and everything. But you know what? Just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about Comicsgate and kind of, just what it means to Bear and kind of try to explain some of this stuff. There's been I haven't really been paying too much attention. There's other stuff going on for Bear. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to get into it, but kind of here and there, able to catch some videos and everything, and kind of caught one the other day. It was talking about, again, I don't know where they come up with some of these people. Just the aggrievedness. Oh, I'm so aggrieved by whatever happened to somebody and so in Comicsgate, and it's like, really, really. I don't understand that, but kind of the big thing was like, who is the leader of Comicsgate, and I don't really care. It doesn't. The leader of Comicsgate doesn't matter to Bear as long as the sort of I don't know what you would call it, the sort of movement, I guess, of Comicsgate, kind of continues along. So, everybody kind of banties about their, with Uncle Ethan Van Sciver. He's the leader of Comicsgate. Or no, it's John Malin's the leader of Comicsgate. Or no, it's this other guy that's, yeah, it doesn't matter. So one of the things that Bear kind of was over the past kind of couple weeks, or I guess I don't know, maybe the past couple months or so, was kind of trying to figure out kind of the best way to kind of explain this to people. One of the reasons that Bear's doing this channel is not only to talk about great stuff like this here, but also kind of, hey, how can we bring people in that aren't really maybe knowledgeable about Comicsgate, or, hey, maybe have heard something about it but don't really know what's going on or anything like that. So it's kind of the theme of the channel here is kind of trying to bring some of those people together and kind of I don't know, just kind of elevating, of course, your artists and everything, and also the art. We've got some beautiful art here, but trying to figure out a way of explaining this to people. Hold on, I got my scratchy throat here. I tell you what. And the hot tea. God dang it! Burns the tongue. I tell you what. I go from scratchy throat to burnt tongue. This is the level of professionalism that you can come to expect from from this channel. Yes, indeed. All right, so kind of one of the things that Bear was trying to figure out was, how do you explain all this to? Oh, for crying out loud! Every time, you stupid camera! Every time. All right, let me go back there. There we are. I'm sorry about that, people. Sometimes it cuts out on Bear and kind of goes into a sleep mode there, so I apologize about that. All right, anyways, how to explain this to everybody? Who is the leader of Comicsgate? The way that Bear kind of figured out a way to do it was to be kind of talking about, instead of it being kind of a top-down organization or something like that, it's a little bit more nebulous. So the best way that Bear can kind of figure out the way to kind of describe it to people a little bit here is, think of Comicsgate as a university, okay? Comicsgate U. We're going to put the Comicsgate in you. There we go. So think about that. Think about a university. Okay, so what do you have at your university? You've got, of course, all your teachers and everything. But who goes to university for education? Nobody goes to university for education. You go to the university to hang out and to party. That's what you go there for. So kind of thinking along those lines, you kind of look at some of the shows that Uncle E is doing, or in the past. He's got kind of the group of friends that he has along there. Cecil, everybody loves Cecil there. Cecil, you got Cecil. You've got a couple other people there as well. You're kind of regulars. You're John Malins, your Fragas, this and that, whatever. But kind of the same, kind of general group there as well. And I think a lot of the kind of consternation that people get is, it's the group there, and that's supposed to be the leadership of Comicsgate, which that's actually isn't. One of the things kind of Bear was kind of thinking about along those lines was just kind of how the sorts of, I don't know, I guess you kind of say party atmosphere a little bit. It almost kind of seems like, and this isn't anything against Uncle E or Cecil or anybody like that, but kind of a little bit kind of like a, not necessarily a crisis, but like one of these sort of midlife crisis type deals, or not necessarily that, but maybe kind of reliving youth, reliving your youth a little bit there. So that's kind of what it seems like a little bit to Bear. So every time he kind of watches one of Uncle E's streams, or even maybe like the Jack Show or something like that, it's got kind of the sort of frat boy mentality to it. And you know what? I think it attracts a lot to people, but it also kind of, it kind of kicks a lot of people away. Lots of people kind of aren't really down with that, or, maybe have different ideas or something like that. So that's kind of where Bear was kind of coming with that, was how do we explain all that stuff? And, who is the leader? It's kind of like asking, who is the dean of the university? Who cares who the dean of the university is? It doesn't really have much effect on your life, but, who is the head of the frat, the alpha, beta, alpha, or whatever you want to call it. So you got this sort of frat boy mentality over here. Well, you might actually have, like, maybe another frat or something like that. And, might be a little bit more independent, or might be a little bit more this or that, or like Christian, they're the Christian group or something like this. Or, they might be the more political group or something like that. So that's kind of the way that kind of Bear thinks about it, is a lot of these different, like frat houses, or, Alpha, Omega, whatever. Bear didn't go to university. He doesn't know. But anyways, one of those types. So you've got maybe a leader of one frat. They might be fighting with a leader of another frat. And they might kind of butt heads, and, how dare you go over there? Or, how dare you come over here? And a lot of the time, people are just kind of coming in and, hey, I just want to go to a cool party, or, hey, I just want to hang out with somebody. It's not like a loyalty thing or anything like that. It's hey, it's a it's a Saturday night. Let's go watch some videos, hang out with some friends, that sort of deal. So you got a lot of that stuff where, you might have your leaders kind of back and forth, kind of battling it out and everything. And that's kind of what everybody sees. That's what got this dysfunctional university, if I might say. You got these people battling back and forth and everything. And, where does it lead? Where does it go? One of the things that Bear was kind of considering in all this stuff is the sort of, well, you can have a whole bunch of different, how would you say it, things that kind of set off the kind of spark of everything. So one of the things that kind of set off a spark here is with the Gina Carano situation. And everybody's got their opinions on it, and that's fine. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes or anything like that, but one of those things that kind of sets everything off. So if you kind of think of it as like a university, so now all of a sudden you got the big game. You got the big game. It's Comicsgate U versus State. And we've got to beat State. We've always got to, for crying out loud. Every time, what is this, 5 minutes that it goes out? I tell you what, I need to frickin', Bear needs to figure this out. Anyways, so the day of the big game there comes, and, of course, you got Frat A fighting with Frat B and all this other stuff. But you know what? At the end of the day, you're still part of Comicsgate U. That's right, Comicsgate University. So at the end of the day, when the chips are down and everything, and, you really do have to fight, not necessarily your internal enemies, but, the external factors as well. So you got State coming in, it's going to battle Comicsgate University. Well, I think about that time, this frat and that frat, they can kind of, hey, let's put aside some of the differences here and kind of come together to kind of figure out what the bigger challenge is in. And then once we figure out that big challenge, go back and fight amongst yourselves. But you know what? I think kind of right now, kind of in this kind of vein of history, I don't want to go out and get on or sort of lambast anybody just because they happen to be, I'm part of this group rather than that group. We're all pretty much part of the same group. If you kind of consider yourself Comicsgate, if you're watching this video right now, I would hope you would consider yourself Comicsgate, or maybe Comicsgate adjacent, or the label doesn't really matter so much as, kind of what you want to figure out as far as, I guess, free expression, freedom of association, of course, freedom of religion there as well, all that stuff. I mean, you might not like personality A or personality B, but, at the end of the day, I think we all agree on the same thing that, hey, they both should be able to speak. They both should be able to speak. And hopefully, the majority of the people think that person A or person B is correct, they're going to go there. And if those ideas don't win out, hey, maybe they come back with a better idea or something like that. But that's kind of the general theme of what Bear was kind of going with as far as talking about Comicsgate and everything. A lot of people are saying, what do you think you're doing? You think you're fighting the culture wars? Yes, of course we are. Of course we are. What do you think? You think we're just, some of us are having fun. Some of us are having the best time of our lives. But, at the end of the day, you got to keep your eye on the ball and kind of what's going on out there. And, I really don't know of any other sort of, what cultural institutions or icons, can you get a foothold in? Can you talk about some of the stuff that we talk about in Comicsgate? You can't do that in the movies. You can't do that in the movies. You can't do that on TV. You can't do that, radio, music. That's all gone. We'll see if they let anybody back or anything like that. But you know what? Pretty much comics is where it's at, and Comicsgate is definitely where it's at. If you really want to, I always hate to say fight back, but if you want to support the people that are at least having a different view, you don't even have to fight. You just have to have hey, here's something different, because if you look at it on the other edge of the ledger there, everything's the same. Everything's kind of mush, generic. It doesn't really bring anything to the table other than just, here we are. Hey, we've got a black Superman now or something like that. And, that might be interesting for an issue or two, but, honestly, who cares? I just go for the story. Just go see what it's about. Go check it out and everything. And, I think that's what we're losing kind of in our societies these days. So kind of the sort of last readout here is Comicsgate. So being able to support these creators and helping them out and, moving the ball forward, I think that's what it's all about here. I think that's what it's all about. So anyways, that's a little bit that Bear wanted to talk about here. I don't want to overemphasize Mike Miller here. I just happen to, actually, this piece, it's kind of funny. I actually got this piece. We got it off of the auction one night, and I just wrote Mike, hey, I got the page for Monster Hunt. I hope you can send it and whatever. Well, I think he deleted the stream or something like that because neither of us could remember which page Bear got. So luckily, Mike was generous enough to go ahead and send this copy here, which looks really good. Looks really good. I don't want to, overemphasize Mike Miller, but I just happen to have that right next to the desk here. So I just wanted to show that to you guys. I actually got another one here as well. I just want to show you another Miller here as well. We're talking about Eden. Oh, for crying out loud, the dang camera. Let me tell you what, not very professional here. Not very professional here with the camera. But anyways, nice little thing from Miss Eden Miller here. Some great stuff. Oh man, I tell you what, some really good stuff. And I'm not even I think this is Naruto. I believe it is. I'm not even a Naruto fan. I tell you what, but you know what, some great stuff. So I got that got both of these pieces kind of right next to the desk here. So they were within claw's reach. Yes, they were. All right. Well, let's see here. Let's see what we've got here as far as all that stuff. Okay, yes, I think I got all that stuff with CG. So I don't know if we wanted to kind of continue talking about CG or thinking about, there's OBS. There is OBS right there. Okay, so let me click off of that because I wanted to kind of come back to what we were going to be talking about today here, which was kind of the story that Bear was talking about the other day. Actually happened to notice that, I tell you what, poor Mike Miller, I tell you what, couldn't keep his channel going there. I think one of them got struck the other day, and one of the things that he was talking about was very current event type material stuff, including some of the stuff that I think we should all talk about, but we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube anymore because of reasons and whatnot. So apparently his channel got struck, and I tell you, you do want to kind of go after the sort of trending item and everything, and I kind of understand why you're kind of chasing that sort of well, I mean, to Bear, it was a little bit kind of like conspiratorial stuff, the whole pizza and the all that stuff. It didn't. I mean, there was some stuff that went on that was more important than the sort of conspiratorial stuff. But just kind of chasing that. I don't know, dragon. I don't know. I shouldn't say dragon. Chasing all chasing all the people that are trying to come in and everything, and it didn't work because it really wasn't kind of Comicsgate stuff. We were trying to chase people that weren't really there, or were just kind of in it for the moment and everything. Anyways, I think that kind of shone a big spotlight on a lot of the people that their channels blew up and everything. But excuse me, beer's burping. Kind of. Oh, I lost my train of thought here. Oh, I'm sorry. It was chasing after people that might not necessarily stick around very much, or might not check out the Comicsgate stuff. So I'm not sure how effective that was, but anyways, we're trying to talk about stuff without really talking about stuff. So one of the things that we're doing is talking about the Bear actually wrote a let me get rid of this so I can kind of go back. Let's see here. And, I don't see anything in the chat. Let's see if this is working. I'm just going to type in hello everybody. I hope this works, because I don't, the chat says it's not working for me. So if you did happen to mention something in the chat, I apologize. It's not showing up on my screen. So anyways, we will continue with that. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I don't know. All right. Anyways, so one of the things that Bear was doing was talking about let me get it up here. There we are. Talking about the Japanese internment. So Bear wrote a story a little while back, talking a little bit about that, and I think it kind of fits in with what we're talking about today, kind of a current event stuff, but in a way that doesn't kind of directly talk about that sort of stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I don't see anybody in the chat saying, God, Bear, don't do this again, because the last one was terrible. So we're just going to go ahead and kind of continue on with it. Excuse me. Oh, well, at least it didn't burn my tongue this time. Taking a little sip of the tea there. Anyways, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. And I learned my lesson last time, because I was talking, I just showed a screenplay and everything, and I don't think that was very fun. So we're just going to go ahead and kind of come back. We'll just go ahead and talk about real quickly the first one. We're talking about Kenji Yoshito. He happened to witness the attack on Pearl Harbor. He was living near Pearl Harbor at the time and happened to see that. Ended up getting caught up in the kind of the dragnet, I suppose, of everybody. The sort of kind of furor behind that and everything. So got caught up with the detainment and everything. So his family got detained and were loaded onto a train. I believe this is Santa Anita. Yeah, it is Santa Anita. There we are. Loaded onto a train. And of course, by our military. Yes, that's right. We all got to support our military, even though they might be throwing you onto a train and sending you away. So anyways, we were talking about that. And let's see, did I do that? Oh, hold on. So that's where we kind of ended up last time. And we're just going to go ahead and kind of continue. It's not going to be as long as I did last time. Well, if you guys want me to continue, we'll kind of end out the first act. But this will only be a couple pages here. And basically, we're going to be talking about is, I'll just go back to it here. Let me go back to it. Going to be talking about what was called Heart Mountain. So this is kind of Heart Mountain there. You can see it off there in the distance. Kind of the one that kind of comes up and kind of flattens out. What was that? What was that movie? The Close Encounters. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where he kind of makes a mountain looks like that out of mashed potatoes. It was kind of neat. Anyways, so this is kind of what we're going to be talking about here. So I'm going to be talking about that. So All right, here we go. Let me clear the throat here. 1 second. Yes, there we are. Okay. All right, so we're talking. I'm just going to back up just a little bit. We kind of ended this the last time. And we're in rural Wyoming in the afternoon. A train is stopped at a dusty station. A windswept road leads towards a receiving area. Beyond, barbed wire as far as the horizon. Japanese families, both young and old, exit the cars. Kenji helps his mother. Oh boy, I tell you what, tongue's tied. Japanese families, both young and old, exit the car. Kenji helps his mother with her suitcase. And we have a super, talks about Heart Mountain Relocation Center. This is in Wyoming, August 11th, 1942 at 4:30 p.m. And let me see if I've got do I have the map? Do I have the map? I don't think I have the map. Let me see if I can bring that up. I just want to show you guys where we're kind of talking about here. So give me 1 second. Here we are. Here we are. All right, let me bring that up. Let me bring this up. We'll do full screen here so you guys can see it. Oops, what did I do? Oh, hell. Okay, we won't do full screen. All right, anyways, I just wanted to kind of show where this was kind of located. Let me click on this. Nope. Oh, it's behind everything. Okay, that's why. Nope. Get rid of all this. 1 second, people. 1 second. We'll get there. We'll get there. Anyways, here is kind of a map of the. Get rid of that. See if I can stretch this out just a little bit. There we are. So a map of the western coast of the United States, and the triangles that you see here. Oops. Here we are. The triangles that you see here are actually internment camps. So some of the stuff, you'll see the stuff in the circle. They were kind of, while they were building a lot of the internment camps, they were keeping people in kind of what they would call assembly areas. So when we go back, let me just go back real quick and find. There we go. So there would be Santa Anita. That's kind of a view of some of the people being loaded up. So they kind of went to some of these places first, and then they were transported sometime later over to all these different ones. So you've got Tule Lake, Topaz, Manzazar. I think the Manzazar was the biggest one, if I'm not mistaken. Poston, Gala River. And what we're talking about over here is Heart Mountain. So quite a ways away. Actually, this line that you see kind of coming down here, it says exclusion area. Basically, they were taking all the Japanese from the West Coast and saying, sayonara, you're heading over into a lovely isolation assembly area or a relocation center, whatever the case may be. So there you are. I just wanted to kind of show where Heart Mountain was. And actually, right nearby is, which is it? I think it's Yellowstone. Where all the bears go, actually. I think it's Yellowstone is right nearby, so it's actually right outside of, I think that is the eastern entrance of Yellowstone. It is Cody, I think, is over there. So it's right near Cody, Wyoming, if you happen to know where Cody, Wyoming is. So there we are. Anyways, let me get out of that. So let me go back to, there we are. All right. And why am I still showing that? Why is it still showing that? Oh, for crying out loud, bear. I tell you what. Okay, there we are. All right, let me get back. Let me get back to the screenplay here. I just wanted to kind of let you guys know where this was located and everything. All right. Let's see. Kenji takes his mother's bag, loading himself down. Other families struggle with their own loads, what they could bring or had on their backs at the time of internment. Basically, they came in and said, hey, family, you need to go. You've got a couple hours or maybe a day. Gather up all your stuff, everything that you can carry, and heading on out. So that's what happened. This is why they're loaded down with bags. Anyways. Ahead, a group of War Relocation Authority officers, 40s, not fit for modern combat, greet the new arrivals. WRA Officer Number 2 takes the bags from Kenji. At first, Kenji is relieved to be free of the weight, but then the man opens the bag and searches through it. WRA Officer Number 1. Looking for any contraband. Have any radios, photographic equipment, printing tools, or mimeographs? Father shakes his head. Any alcohol, drugs, or firearms? What kind of question is that? Asks Kenji. WRA Officer Number 2. They're clear, packing light. I'm just going to say Officer 1 and 2. It gets a little mouthful here. Officer Number 1. Cooking utensils, pots, pans. You can find them at your mess hall. Barracks are set up in a row. Each mess hall sits in the middle. Some of them might be under construction. To Father. What's the last name, sir? Father. Yoshito, Maso, and Suro. Officer Number 1 looking at his notebook. Ya, yo, yom. While his partner searches through the foreign names, Officer Number 2 shows off the camp's points of interest. Let me see if I can bring that up. Give me 1 second here. Let me see. Where was it? Did I have it? There we are. Well, that was kind of the picture that you guys already saw. That's kind of the picture that you guys already saw. Anyways, so there we are. There's a little family there. And if you kind of look off to the left or shoulder there, you can see Heart Mountain. And if you look off to the right there, you can see a guard tower, plus some barbed wire as well. So that's nice. While his partner searches through foreign names, Officer Number 2 shows off the camp's points of interest. State-of-art boiler room. You can see that big red chimney. Points up the hill. Next to it is the hospital. To Mother and Kame. Looking for nurses. No experience. Talk to Dr. Irwin. Officer Number 1. Here we go. Yoshito, 22C6. To Father. Right this way, sir. The WRA officer leads Kenji and family to the front gate. A sign proclaims, Heart Mountain Relocation Center, U.S. government property. No entry without escort. The WRA officers stop to hand out pins to the Yoshito family, each numbered with their names on them. And dang it, I don't have it. But anyways, that's true. They did. Everybody had their little pins. WRA Officer Number 1. From the gate, you'll want to take Avenue F down to 2nd Street. Only barracks completed so far on Block 22 is Barrack C. Easy enough to find. 6 means you'll be in the back, nice and cozy. Kame. With 5 other families? WRA Officer Number 1. Coal train comes every 3rd Thursday. It may be warm now, but winter will cut you to the bone. To the guard. Section 22, they're ready to go. Now, can you imagine these people out there in times like this when it's freezing cold out there? Oh, my God. And the train only comes every 3rd Thursday, so, yeah. Anyways. The guard opens up the front gate. The Yoshito family enters the relocation center and begins the long walk up a dusty hill with the other families. The mountain that gives its name, Heart Mountain, stands in the distance. Rising to a cliff, Heart Mountain forms a monolith protruding into the sky. Again, we saw that here with this guy. So there it is, off there in the distance. I think this picture was taken probably the year after. We're talking about 1942, and the date that we're talking about here, a lot of this stuff was still being built. They haven't even finished it yet when people started arriving. So that's kind of what they were talking about there originally. And if you want to ask, why would they put entire families in concentration camps? They wouldn't ever put a young little girl behind barbed wire. Well, there she is. There she is. There's the little guard tower and the barbed wire. So it's true. This happened. I got receipts. YouTube, if you want to come after me, I got receipts. I got it. Don't play with Bear here. All right. The guard opens the front gate. The Yoshito family enters the relocation center, and I've already read that. Okay. Interior, barracks, later. And I call them barracks because they actually were barracks. So if you think kind of the kind of 1940s style barracks, they look just like that. The Yoshito family enters their new home. At 20 by 20 feet, the modest interior made from new pine. Any gaps to the elements are covered over with a thin sheet of tar paper. Again, can you imagine being in one of those right about now when it's freezing cold out there? Several cots are laid against the far wall. A small coal stove sits in the corner. A narrow window peeks outside. Kame asks, "Where's the kitchen?" Kenji asks, "Where's the bathroom?" Father, "We will make do," and speaks to Kenji. "Go, get scraps of wood to burn." Kenji follows father's command and exits. Exterior Heart Mountain Relocation Center. Moments later, Kenji walks the dusty road in front of his new home and scans the endless horizon. Construction as far as he can see. Barracks, fences, and more fences. In stark contrast, Heart Mountain hangs over the internment camp like a tourist postcard. Bump! Kenji knocks into Mits Koshima, 18, a nervous little rascal, to the ground. Yeah, knocks. Okay. Kenji knocks Mitsuyoshima, 18, a nervous little rascal, to the ground. Mits, "Hey, Kenji, you ran into me. Watch where you're going." Toshi Truth Yamagoto, an intelligent kid, helps Mits back to his feet. Pardon me about that. Let me grab something to drink. 1 second. Well, at least it didn't burn my tongue this time. All right, let's see. Okay, pardon me. Truth Yamagata, an intelligent kid, helps Mits back to his feet. "Mits, where are I going? To find Mr. Emmy. You see him?" Kenji shakes his head. "Owe us both 6 bits. Kenji, "What for?" Mits, "For dice, back on the train." Spots Emmy. "There's that 2-timing rascal." Mits and Truth lead Kenji down Avenue F. More and more families are moving in, filling the road with their only possessions in the world. The three weave their way through the chaos. Mits yells to Frank Sashi Emmy, 26. His wire-like frame matches his glasses, but he stands with authority. And do I have a picture of him? Okay, so some of this stuff is I am coming up with characters out of whole cloth. Others are actual real characters. I don't know if I have a picture of Mits in here, but the gentleman here off to the left is Frank Emmy, and the person off to the right, I'm not really sure, but hell, let's we'll make one of the characters them. I'm not sure who the gentleman off to the left is there, or excuse me, off to the right, the taller one. Mr. Emery is the shorter one. Emmy. Frank Sashishi Emmy, 26. His wire-like frame matches his glasses, but he stands with authority. Mr. Emmy. "Friends, I was looking for Akamoto-san myself. We were separated," and Mits grabs a hold of Mr. Emery and shakes him. "You better pay us, Buster, or all..." Screams. Families scatter, leaving luggage behind. Several guards fill the yard. Aho Suzuki, 19, a punk, leads the remaining crowd. Excuse me. My throat's getting to me. Aho Suzuki, 19, a punk, leads the remaining crowd in a chant. Aho, egging on the crowd. "Let us go! Let us go! Let us go!" Bang! A guard nervously fires into the air. Warden Rayburn, off screen. "That's enough!" Warden Rayburn, 54, is a tall man with wide boots, and he uses those boots to walk over and kick the offending guard. Warden Rayburn continued. To the guards, "This isn't the Wild West. Secure those firearms." He addresses the crowd. "Listen to me, people. Listen up. We cannot abide by any civil disruptions. This crowd needs to disperse. Post haste. That means immediately. Get back to your barracks. Those who remain will be detained." Kenji asks, "Detained? We're already detained." Kenji steps forward, but a WRA guard mistakes this for an attack and tosses Kenji into the dirt. He tosses him to the ground. I think I mistyped that, because tossing him into the dirt would really hurt. Kenji steps forward, but a WRA guard mistakes this for an attack and tosses Kenji onto the ground. Kenji struggles, but the guard makes sure he doesn't get away. The other guards get nervous and raise their rifles. Warden Rayburn, "Hang on now, just 1 minute. This is a civil institution, and we will remain civil." Kiyoshi Akamoto, 52. And dang it, I do not have his picture. Oh well. A committee of 1 steps up and speaks to the rapt crowd. His voice fills the air with conviction. Mr. Okamoto, then we demand dignity and respect. We are American citizen. We have every right to take issue with our condition. Barbed wire and guard tower? Who does that to a family? Warden Rayburn, this would have been explained tomorrow, but I'll do it here. The WRA is entrusting each block with its own representation and captains. Internees will therefore be in charge of the degenerates, gamblers, and miscreants in this camp. Furthermore, these slots will be limited to Nisei and no Issei. Well, let me back up and explain that just real quick. Nisei are the second generation Japanese Americans. Issei are the first generation Japanese Americans. Basically, back in the 20s, they stopped immigration from Japan. So the Nisei would be kind of the first American-born Japanese Americans. And what they're doing here is they're putting those younger people in charge, and it totally messed up the whole societal structure, because you have kind of the elderly, respect your elders type deal. Well, they've switched it up, so now they're going to put the young kids in charge of the old people, which led to a lot of stuff there. Anyways, Mr. Okamoto objects. Because Nisei are more trustworthy as Americans. Now settle in for the night, and we'll figure out the details in the morning. You have my word. That was Warden Rayburn, I'm sorry. Warden Rayburn leads his men back towards the administrative building and passes Kenji along the way. To the guard. Warden Rayburn, let the smartass go. Kenji is released. Murmurs among the crowd. While most leave, those that remain talk amongst themselves. Mitz. Good thing he no put up a fight, right, Truth? Kenji, Truth? Mitz, the only crap stealer we could agree on. They were playing craps along the train there. So, anyways, the only crap stealer we can agree on. Truth. Train have everyone from Pomona to Polyup. What camp you from, pal? And that goes back to the map that we saw earlier. What camp you from, pal? Kenji, Santa Anita. Mitz, where the horses race? Mitz, yeah, my family traded one stable for another. Mr. Emery and Mr. Okamoto join the young men. Mr. Okamoto, many people are fine to go through life. Keep their head low. Don't start no trouble. Speaks to Kenji. But this is not one of those times. When a government does a wrong, you have a right to protest, to say this is unjust. Kenji nods. Organize and take back your lives. Without your help, we've no voice. So join us and lift your head high. Mitz, enough of the talk. Where's my payment? Mr. Emmy, yes, my debt will be paid. Yes, my debt will be paid. But Okamoto-san is right. We must organize. We need men like you to hold their head high, to show the way. Most of these families are farmers. Washington, Oregon, California. The WRA needs us more than we need them. Kenji asked, how can you be so certain? Aho, because they need us to tend to the fields while Jack and Johnny are off fighting. As they talk, Kame runs up. Kame, we heard a shot. What's happening? You're supposed to get firewood. Kenji, it's okay. Everyone's okay. Truth, this place not so bad. Where I lived, not many Japanese. Here, beautiful girls just run up. Kenji, hey, you know nothing about her. Truth, well, I sure like to. Mr. Emmy, please, will you come by tomorrow? We all have much to discuss. And to Kenji, and kid, come by early. Somebody has to show you how to fight. Kenji asks, why's that? Mr. Emmy, look around. We need a block captain. Mr. Emmy walks away with Mr. Okamoto, talking politics. Kame dragged Kenji away from the other troublemakers. As they head towards their new home, the sun sets on Heart Mountain. Ironic picture of the Wild West. All right, well, that is 7 pages in. Now, I've got another little bit there that will end up closing out the first act. So basically, this is kind of the first act, the first maybe 15, 20 minutes or so of this kind of movie idea that I had, talking about, it's not, what we've been talking about here is the Japanese internment. It's not about that at all. We're actually going to be talking about some different stuff as well. Let me see if I can go back. and oops, not that one. Let me get rid of these. But they kind of end up in a situation where this would be the largest mass trial in U.S. history. We had a bunch of people that decided to go against the U.S. government, and they ended up in Leavenworth after they had this trial here. Lasted, maybe a couple days. That's all. They just guilty, no standing, latches, whatever. So they this is a little bit where the story is going, but this isn't all about the Japanese internment or anything like that. It's actually going to be a whole lot bigger. We're going to open it up a whole lot wider and talking about World War II. So there's a whole thing about that. But basically what happened here was the guys that you see on your screen here were being drafted. They were being drafted into the Army. And basically they were saying, hey, until we get our rights back, we aren't going to serve in the U.S. Army. And so they decided to arrest them and throw them in prison for many, many years. Actually, after the war ended, I think Truman commuted everybody's sentences and let them go and everything. But basically during the entire war, they were locked up. So we kind of touch on that a little bit, but we're actually going to be talking about World War II. So if you have the opportunity, and you want to kind of jump ahead, if you care. If you don't, if you think this is really boring, then you probably don't care or anything like that. But if you do, you might want to check out a movie called Go for Broke. It was made back in the 1950s, and it would pick up kind of a little bit after what we're talking about here. Because they mainly talked about the war and everything. We're talking a little bit about what was going on in the homeland, but we'll widen our view here a little bit. And once we get to the ending here, there's a reason why we're doing the Japanese internment, and the reason why they're called internment camps here and other things over in Europe. I think you're going to be kind of really surprised about how all that stuff kind of comes together. And, well, I'll just leave it at that. You're not going to believe Bear if we get to that point. If you guys actually like this. If you don't, hey, I understand. It's no big deal. Like I said, I just wanted to be able to talk about some of this stuff, current event sort of stuff, without actually talking about it. And, of course, getting our channel struck and getting in trouble with the old YouTube people. But like I said earlier, I got receipts. I got receipts on all this stuff. Mr. Emery was an actual person. Mr. Akamoto was an actual person. A lot of those guys, they formed what was called the Fair Play Committee. So we're, excuse me. The tea, it used to be hot and now it's cold. So go figure. Go figure. So we're going to be talking about a lot of that stuff. But I wanted to be able to talk about some of the current event stuff without actually talking about the current event stuff, and kind of going back to the circling back to the Gina Carano stuff, and the I don't know, tweet, Instagram, whatever she put out that got her in kind of some hot water there. You know, you don't need to make the mid-20th century Central European superpower. You don't need to make that connection. We've got stuff right here, right at home, that we did, that people are still alive that could tell you all about it. In fact, I think that, what's his name? Mr. Sulu. Oh, God, I'm drawing a blank here. Anyway, Sulu, he was actually interned. I'm not sure. I think he was interned at Mazamar, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, we've got people still alive that went through all that stuff. So she really didn't need to make the mid-20th century Central European superpower analogy. You could do the same thing right here. And it wasn't just the U.S. government that was doing it. It was also the citizens that were really kind of ticked off about that stuff and really scared too. I mean, people are just, I guess the best way to describe it is something kind of like the last couple days, or the first couple days after 9/11 with what happened there. But just very much more, hey, we need to do something about that. And I've got, listen, YouTube, please, please question me because I've got the receipts. I can go back through the National Archive. I've got this stuff. I can show it. It ain't that big of a deal. I just gotta figure out OBS. I gotta figure out OBS. But anyways, we're gonna be talking a little bit about that. I think the next round that we're gonna be doing here is the conclusion of the first act. Um, kind of a butting of heads, so to speak. We didn't have too much of father here in this second round, but they're going to be butting heads. They have different generational views. Kenji is a little bit more of a kind of an activist. One of the reasons that I was writing this was kind of in response, and this was back in 2017, was in a lot of their response to the BLM stuff. So think about Kenji as kind of like one of these little BLM guys that's, he might be on the right, he might be on the wrong, but he's kind of he's going to be going at it here. So that's where that will conclude the next time, and then we will completely switch gears and start talking about World War II and why somebody from an internment camp might have something to do with World War II and fighting over in Europe. Like I said, if you guys go check out Go for Broke, the movie Go for Broke, if you got some time, check that out. You'll get a little bit ahead. Oh, and also, I forgot to mention, because the name of the title here, comes from, dun, 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 dun. It Can't Happen Here, from this fellow, Sinclair Lewis. And the kind of sub-headline, I guess, what will happen when America has a dictator? So this was kind of written back in the 30s, kind of as an alternate history, what would happen if FDR wasn't elected. And they seem to think that there was going to be some sort of, a dictatorial thing in America. Well, it's, anyways, that's where we get the title from. That's where we get the title. I don't want to speak too much. Oh boy, I don't want to lose my channel here. Well, listen, I don't want to pick on Mike here, but one of the things that I think we should all remember here, as far as if you have a channel out there and you want to make sure that you have all of the stuff that you have done in the past, live shows or whatever, make sure you download that. Pardon me. Yeah, there we go. Make sure you download all that stuff. I've got everything that I've done basically backed up. I'm starting to record the live shows here, so if something ever happens, we will be migrating over to one of the other places. I'm still kind of looking around at some of the places. I'm not really super impressed with a lot of the different ones, but hey, if push comes to shove, that's what we're going to do. So make this be a lesson to everybody. Back up your stuff. Make sure you have it backed up and everything. I've got all my stuff backed up. I've got, oh my gosh. What's the old saying? Don't mess with people that buy their ink by the barrel. Don't mess with people that buy their memory by the terabyte. I think I've got like 10 terabytes of video backed up already with plenty more to be doing that. So just make sure you do that. And if you ever have to go over to, take your pick, whatever different platform, you'll have it there. It might take a little while to upload. God, what was the one? It was the alternative. Rumble, I think it was. I was looking into that, and it seemed like it was going to take forever, not only to upload, but it seemed like it took a long time for even it to, I don't know, render on their servers or to basically come up to, where you can see it and everything. So I was less than impressed with Rumble. Plus you had to pay for it. I mean, there was a free option, but you had to pay for it. So I wasn't really impressed with Rumble. But in any case, we all have to be ready just in case we have to kind of jump ship. YouTube might decide tomorrow to say, hey, you know what? We don't want people talking about the Japanese internment. Well, on to better and brighter pastures, I suppose. All right. Well, folks, I do not know what is going on with the chat. If you guys happen to chat or do anything like that, I apologize because I cannot see it on my end here. So if you had anything that you were telling me, I apologize. And yeah, I do. I don't have any way. I don't have any way to view it. I see what I wrote there, but I don't see anything else. So maybe everybody was just wrapped in attention. Didn't want to interrupt the flow or anything like that. And if that's the case, I do appreciate it. I do. I do. All right. Well, you know what? I think we're going to go ahead and end it there. Um, if you do like it, and I didn't see your chat or anything like that, hey, drop me a line down there in the I was going to say the description. Drop me a line down there in the comments, and I would appreciate that. I do read everybody's comments. I might not always respond, but I do read everybody's comments. So, thank you in the past if you've commented as well. And hey, if you really like this, if you want to continue with the "It Can't Happen Here" story that Bear's written here, hey. I don't mind telling you guys. I would really appreciate it. And, if you guys got notes or something like that, hey, throw them this way. I appreciate it. I actually kind of like being able to kind of share some of this stuff with you guys. And it's kind of about, hey, look, we talked about Comicsgate, and we talked about the weather, and we talked about the screenplay that I'm doing here. So a very wide gamut of topics that we covered here today. So I hope to be able to do this maybe every Wednesday and Saturday. I hope to kind of make a schedule of that. It just kind of depends. I really hope to kind of stick to it, but like I said, I'm kind of trying to get back into some of the live stuff here. Had some kind of issues back and forth, but we're still working on kind of the studio and everything. But other than that, I think we're gonna kind of start to go ahead and do this maybe twice a week. So I think a good time would be Wednesdays and Saturdays. But we'll see. We will see. Anyways, thank you. I'm just going to write this in the chat. Thank you, everybody. I do appreciate you guys stopping by. I do appreciate you guys listening. I do. Even I'm sure, even though I can't see him, I know P Money is making fun of me, and that's fine. That's what it's all about here. I don't mind that at all. Just don't make Bear too mad. All right. Hey, thanks, everybody. We will see you next time, and I hope you have a great weekend. Take care, everybody.